Hi, and welcome to Boat Life Balance with Captain Ned. That's me. I'm Captain Ned, your personal boating instructor and owner by advocate. Why boat life balance? Well, I believe if you get a boat life balance, even if you've got that little inkling of wanting to be out in the water, dipping your toe in the water for the first time, pardon the pun, you get that boat life balance right, you'll be boating for the rest of your life. And you'll hear me say that through a lot of the content. I do tend to repeat myself. The reason I repeat myself a bit as a boating instructor is because I really want to get a few key messages across. And those key messages start with the education, inspiration, and emotion of all of this stuff that is boating. And yeah, it is emotional. Like, it's a really, for if you're sort of want to go into a lifestyle aspiration for your own needs and for your family's needs and to get out on the water for all the right reasons, we're here for you. I'm here for you. A boating instructor is what I do, but what I am is more than that. And let me just take you through my origin story of why I ended up where I am in this instruction space, and in this consultative space, as well as helping people really start their boat journey from A to C. That's SEA. And that's from everywhere from I really think I'd like a boat to I'm out here on the water and this is great. I've got sausages and chops sizzling on the and crumbed prawns sizzling on the barbecue there. I've got a drink in my hand. My kids are swimming off the swim platform. We're anchored to this beautiful cove, and how good is this? That's where we're going. All right. So how did I get to where I am? And having enjoyed that lifestyle and taking great glee out of that lifestyle. Let me start. Back in Malakuta, growing up in a very small town in far eastern Victoria, the most eastern point of state of Victoria here in Australia. It's absolute paradise. It is so beautiful, and the lake and the water just sang to me. It just called me to it. I knew that I was going to be in boating and on the water for the rest of my life. What really kicked off and sparked my imagination was 1983. I'm showing my age. In the 1980s, Australia won the America's Cup. Like, whoa, mind blown. But what that did is it showed me that the world of boating was a whole world of boating. It wasn't just my little town and my little Australia. Well, it's not that little, is it? Australia's huge. And one of the biggest coastlines in the world. Yeah, possibly the biggest coastline in the world. So definitely has the biggest coastline in the world. Let's not sugarcoat it. So lots of opportunity for boating. But the America's Cup just went, we've won the America's Cup. We're just players in the world. And the boating is this world thing. And anyway, so I got really excited about boating. And I would be there. My hero in the America's Cup, actually, just to digress, was Ben Lexon, the designer of the wing keel and all of that, the designer of the boat that won the race. So I was there drawing boats and all that sort of thing as a kid. And then I went, okay, I've got to get into boating. So what the first job I got, one of the first jobs, was working at the local boat hire. I loved it. It was awesome. I could meet people on boats and show them how to use the boat. And then, and they're like, oh, is this, 14-year-old tacker showing us how to drive a boat? I mean, seriously. I was right. Looking at their own business, the business owner, old Neil Rankin, he's like, no, we'll be right. We'll show you what's going on. And anyway, learned a lot of stuff there. The people that didn't really listen to the instruction were the ones that I'd probably have to go and drag off a sandbar at the end of the day in the little rescue boat. Anyway, then I'd often go. If I had a half day shift, I'd go over to the boat ramp, which was just 100, 200 meters away from the boat hire. Go to the boat ramp, and I ended up helping people out there because, I saw these people coming in from to Malakuta, massive holiday town, huge holiday destination, and they'd come down. It'd be 2 days after Boxing Day, and they start arriving into town. Some of them would get there before Christmas, but most of them would get there sort of Boxing Day after. And they're all excited, and they're going down. They've got the trailer on their car, and they're getting down to the boat ramp. Wow. And then there's a queue at the boat ramp, and then there's all the kerfuffle, and there's trying to back the trailer in, and then their voices start getting louder, and they start running around and getting all panicky, and they're yelling at the kids and yelling at the wife, and they're stressed, and the wife's yelling back at them, and she's like, "Oh, I've had enough of this," and then he puts a boat in the water, and the bung's not in, and then there's that whole kerfuffle. Got to pull the boat out of the water. So I just sort of would stand there, and go, "Can I help out? I've done this a few times. Can I help out at all?" I just loved helping people with their boats, and I realised that a lot of the kerfuffle at the boat ramp was due to people not knowing what they didn't know. It wasn't their fault. It's not like we growing up in Malakuta, growing up around boats, we were just like, "Oh, this is what you do. This is just par for the course. This is this is a piece of cake." But then it didn't take me long to realise that people were like, "Oh, this isn't a piece of cake. This is really stressful." So anyway, let's cut forward. Boop, let's come up closer to the present. I got my commercial license, I got all that, and then I came to Melbourne. I moved to Melbourne full time around 2000. I started working in the chartering industry and charter boats. And it was interesting, but it was also it just sort of took the edge off the enjoyment of boating for me a little bit. It was still great, and I was doing things like giving commentaries and getting rounds of applause and laughter and all that. I worked out very quickly that four laughs equal a round of applause at the end. Okay, so but when we were going around the marinas, and I started getting around the Melbourne marinas, I'm like, look at these boats that are sort of half hanging off their arms on the marina berth, and they're not tied up properly, and they've got scratches and dings on them. And I'm like, hang on a minute. I'm back at the boat ramp. These people are getting scared off of their boats because they don't know what they don't know again. And then I thought, wow, there's something here. So I risked it all. I gave up the chartering. I was pretty much just a freelance skipper there for the last couple of years anyway, because I was sort of floating about wondering what I'm going to do with myself. So I started the business in 2007, and we had quite a few business offerings because I looked at all the opportunities in the business, and I came up with 42 different opportunities. I wrote this list out, and I thought, yeah, vessel management, vessel care, blah, 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 all this sort of stuff. And, I'll do boating instruction as well, and I'll do some crewing, and I'll do skippering and stuff. But the boating instruction just kept stepping up and stepping up and stepping up as the biggest call. The biggest call to action for me kept presenting as the boating instruction. And then something happened. A boat blew up at Pier 35. And I'm at Victoria Harbour, which is not far away from Pier 35. I heard a loud bang from over that way and went, what was that? It didn't take too long to text and phone calls to come through to tell me that a boat had blown up at Pier 35 and 2 people had died and 1 crippled for life. And the whole backstory of that, when we go through these podcasts, you'll get links to the backstory of that. I don't want you to read that. It's really dramatic. It's really gruesome. It's not good. But the whole backstory of that just made it crystal clear to me that someone enjoying the boating, they weren't like lives at sea, they were just filling up fuel at a fuel dock. And now they're not here. That shouldn't happen. There is no excuse for that. There is no reason for that to happen. And I looked at all the information and the coroner's reports and all that stuff about it and the news articles, and I just went, they didn't know what they didn't know. And as a boating instructor, then I started meeting people after the fact, after the purchase, after they'd gone and blinkers on a bit and not really known what they were going into, and then having to tell them that I can't take them out because their boat's not fit for seagoing service. Then I just went, okay, that's it. And this is the most recent thing. This is where we are right now. And this is why boat life balance exists. Because I want to be here with you on your full journey. Yeah. And whether you own a boat right now, or you've had some good experiences, or if you've never experiences, we'll talk, we'll work it out. Like I said, there's emotion in boating. It also can greatly lift or affect your mental health. Being a mental health advocate, I can say that being out in the water is freaking awesome. It is great. You're in the environment, you're mindful of where you are, you're engaged with what you're doing, and it is just this clarity of focus. If it's not working well for you, however, it's really quite personal and emotional, because you've gone to do this with all this lifestyle expectation. It's not giving you the ROL, return on lifestyle, not return on investment. If it's not giving the ROL, it still feels like this hole in the water you throw money into. So this is about the general knowledge you need in boating. It's not about, oh, the Ray Marine system does this and that, or the Garmin system does this and that, and this does this and that, and IPS does this and that. We'll go through some of that, but what I want to do with BLB, Boat Life Balance, is be that for you, your personal boating instructor, your personal advocate in the space and in the world of boating. I hope you see some real value in what we're doing here. I look forward to talking with you. I'd really love to see your questions in the comments below. Like, subscribe, and share as always. And we'll see you soon in the next episode. Thanks for listening. I'm Ned Files. Happy boating, and bye for now.